Good morning, world.
Good morning and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, 2021.
Yep.
Well, today we're going to talk about kids going back to school or lack of here in our local area. We had something that we can relate to the whole country and maybe even the whole world.
Yes. But so we don't have the same episode as 2020. Let's start this year off right and say a quick little word. We just hope that this year is a lot better than last year. Amen and Awomen.
Awomen.
I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. All right, Cedric, I'm glad you started off with that gender-neutral prayer ending, because we all know that amen means man, of course.
No, that's not what it means. And we're not going to spend too long on this. Amen is just a Latin term for so be it.
It's actually originally Hebrew.
Okay.
And then it came over to Latin Greek. But yeah, it's so be it or truth.
Truth. Yeah. And so basically, and here's me and Brian want to put this out here. We're not talking about whether you're religious or you're not, it's okay. I have a very strong feeling that the man who said it knew good and well what he was doing. It was done intentionally. He
is a preacher. Did you know that? He's not just a senator or a congressperson. He's actually a man of the cloth. And he said this right here.
And God known by many names, by many different faiths. Amen and a woman.
That's a damn shame. And I think he did it intentionally. Just because that's how woke we're becoming. Because we talked about this before with taking away Christmas and watering stuff down.
Yeah.
And now they're taking away our religious freedoms. It's not a religious episode we're doing, but if that is who you are, that's being taken away by our government by saying amen is just a term. It's not a gender term.
I know, it's so ridiculous. And I saw a guy, he goes, let us know if we're going to broadcast in Uncle Arctica. Yes. Can't just say Antarctica.
But here's the thing. I want you to go back to every time Joe Biden said his famous phrase, come on, man. He's got to say, come on, man, and come on, woman.
That's right.
And if you make that change.
But that is a gender term, come on, man. But right. Amen has nothing to do with gender.
But he turned it into a gender term.
It's ridiculous.
So if you're going to make those changes, if you make a amendment.
Is that an amendment or a woman amendment?
Yeah, woman amendment. Oh, my goodness. That was silly. We just wanted to touch on that real quick. Be careful out there. Things are changing like that. It's they're taking away our religious freedoms, and who knows what they're going to take away next. But we want to talk about schools.
So in our area, we're in Southern California. So all of you outside California, you know how nutty we are out here anyway, and that we're trying to get rid of our governor and the whole state. Of course, I talk to people. We get rid of Newsom, it's just going to be replaced by somebody just as bad. So at this point, it doesn't really matter. It's the reason why people are fleeing the state. And sorry, Texas, Tennessee. I hope we're only sending you the people that aren't going to change you to a blue state. Well, only time will tell. But here in Southern California, we live kind of in a little pocket where it's not so woke.
Right.
So they did a vote on, I think it was the 5th.
Saturday.
They did the original vote. They did the original vote, and they voted to send kids up through elementary school back to school, to not delay going back. So with a 3-2 vote here in Corona, California, they voted to let the kids go back on the 5th for year-round and the 12th for regular traditional school.
Which is today.
Yeah. So that was all going through, and then you had all of these teachers and people complaining, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So they reconvened an emergency council, and the president, who had the deciding vote the first time, rescinded his vote. So,
they just met this past Saturday over the weekend.
Yeah, they had to do an emergency one because of the backlash. But I want to read you something from the president, Mr. Pollock. Okay, he's the president. So he voted, let's send the kids back to school. All over the world, elementary school kids are going back to school. Looking at the district plans and protocols, I believe we have the ability to be both safe and successful, Pollock said. I love our families and want to reassure them we are not throwing them into a situation that is bleak. And the reason he said this is because he knows the psychological impact that keeping these kids home was. He made the right decision the first time. Then political pressure happened.
Right.
So he came back And in the second article, they don't even quote him. They don't even tell us that he's the one. I had to find out afterwards from people that were at the meeting that he's the one who reversed his decision. The other two people still kept their same decisions. So the reason we bring this up, I know this is a local story, and it's like, well, what do we care about Corona? This has a broader implication. It's political pressure causing these politicians to change their mind and basically give in to the mob. And it's not a good precedent.
Right. And here's the problem with having something that's run by the government. And Brian and I kind of made fun of that a couple weeks ago. We talked about the post office and other things run by the government and how it runs down. And at first I thought, well, let each district, whether it be LA Unified or Orange County Unified or in our area, Corona-Norco Unified, have their own way. But since they are run, the umbrella is the government, they had met their certain plans. But then the government came and said, well, we want you to meet other plans. Mm-hmm. At first, the district said, okay, we will test every 2 months. And then the state said, no, we want testing every week. And then the Corona-Norco Unified School said, well, we don't want masks to be mandatory. And then the state said, masks have to be mandatory. Mm-hmm. You have now here's what I want you to understand. We have 50,000 students. We have 2,000 teachers. And here's what the new plan is called, the Gavin plan. It says the plan provides specific details on funding, COVID-19 testing, protective equipment, contact tracing, and vaccinations. 50,000 kids, 2,000 students. So what's next? Are they going to come to these 2,000 state employees and say, in order for you to keep your job, you have to get this vaccination? And even worse, are you going to make that mandated for our 50,000 students who have to get vaccinated? I don't know if Brian will put this up or not, but last year we interviewed Dr. Barkey, and I don't want to argue this point. I don't know if he said it or if he said one of his good friends said that putting a mask on a student is akin to child abuse. Yeah. I'm not here to argue that, but it was just one of those things we said it's unnecessary. And Brian, we want to talk about the depression and anxiety that our students are feeling.
Yeah, so again, and Dr. Barkey said this, the mask debate is not something that he's willing to die on the hill for.
Right.
I'm not either. So I just want the kids back to school. If they wear masks, fine. Should a 5-year-old wear a mask? I don't believe so. I don't know if you guys saw that. The couple that got kicked off the plane because their 3-year-old wouldn't keep the mask on. That's old news. It was ridiculous. These kids need to go back because, as we talked about before, suicide rates for younger people are going up. There are real consequences to these lockdowns. I treat many teachers. The ones that I treat, again, they're the ones that are willing to go out into the world. Right. They all wanted to go back to school at all levels, but especially the elementary school teachers. They said it is so important. These kids at that age cannot do Zoom meetings. They don't have the mental capacity to do things on Zoom. They need to be back in school. The teachers were willing to go back in school. Then I had this debate the other night where some teachers were over at our house. They were at our house. They want to go back to school. They are frustrated because the districts are not letting them go back to school. They were saying, well, they've had so many people on social media like Facebook, these teachers that do not want to go back to school. They were just throwing fits on having to go back to school. Yet those are the same teachers that are out at Walmart, out at Target, out at Costco. So why is it okay to go back and shop, go buy some clothes, yet you cannot go sit 20 feet away, 10 feet away? I mean, you can sit, at least 10 feet away from students.
Right. Yeah.
10 feet away, put your mask on, put a plexiglass thing, and go back and safely teach school. The hypocrisy, again, that we talk about all the time is ridiculous. I'm in a job where I go, if I don't work, I don't get paid. Obviously, that $600 from the government isn't going to support my family and my kids through college. I'm going back to work. I literally touch 50 people a day. Okay, so I can't be 10 people 10 feet away.
That doesn't sound right.
I'm a chiropractor.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm adjusting 50 people a day. Okay? I'm not complaining about going back to school. I wear the mask, they wear the mask. There's absolutely zero reason that the teachers can't go back to school. This is all political. It's all ridiculous.
Yeah, and I believe the number of depression cases in our youth has gone from 21.9% last fall up to a staggering 30% this fall. And those are just the recorded cases. I'm sure it's more than that. And I've seen it, being around students and everything. Before COVID hit, these kids didn't have any social skills.
Right.
They were stuck in their phones all the time, on their laptops, didn't know how to interact with each other. And now when COVID hit, and right in March or in April when school resumed again, and like Brian just said, it was hard to get these students to learn in an environment where they had to turn on their computer. Now, some of the kids that thrived in the normal brick and mortar setting, they're doing well anyway.
Yeah.
The other kids, now mom and dad are leaving for work at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're telling their child, make sure you turn on your laptop at 9 o'clock and make sure you do it. They're not doing it. They're not being held accountable. Why would they do it? And it's like, so the depression is rising, the anxiety is rising, and like Brian said, the suicide rate is rising. We are literally killing our students.
Yes. So again, as we mentioned before, the cure is worse than the disease. And again, these kids, especially elementary school, the chances of somebody up to age, what, sixth graders are how old? 10, whatever they are?
Right.
The chances for kids under 10, their chances of dying from COVID-19 are actually less than dying from the flu. So keep that in mind when you tell people that they shouldn't go back to school. We are doing such a disservice to these kids. I know in California there's a spike. We're having like the worst spike. And we're the state that has the most mandated mask rules. They're not having spikes in Florida where everything's open. We're having spikes here. So the science does not back this up. It is all political people. It's all because of the teachers' unions. It's because of the Gavin Newsoms of the world. It is a damn shame.
Did you hear that Pelosi received enough votes? She's our Speaker of the House again.
Oh, did she get it?
Tangent, but I thought that was necessary to hear.
Because she's so good.
This is such a damn shame.
Anyway, so we wanted to start off with something uplifting, but we couldn't.
Well, uplifting from a personal note, I mean, you're looking for success in 2020. Brian and I didn't have I'm a transition here, any hard set goals for the Cedric and Brian YouTube show. And we thought, honestly, if we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'd be doing great. But thanks to you and people like you, we surpassed 2,300.
Yeah, we're one away from 2,400 subscribers. Yeah. So
that's good.
We got to keep it going. Thank you for sticking with us. Please share our videos because that is how we can grow.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. And like I always say, make sure you share this video with everyone you know. Stay safe out there. And until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. We'll see you later.